Tim Hortons lobbied the government to increase the amount of foreigners that they could hire. And before you say something racist, this is not about the people or where they are coming from. This is about the multi-billion-dollar international corporation that is taking advantage of Canadians and international workers. This is about these people who are trying to come here for a better life. They are also being taken advantage of, just as Canadians are being screwed over as well. With Tim Hortons lobbying MPs over the last 18 months, they were trying to have the cap raised from 20% to 30%. It has now been lowered to 10%. And this is predatory behavior from a former Canadian institution. It is insane to me that you could say that the restaurant and service industry is experiencing any form of worker shortage when there is a mass amount of young people and elderly people and just people in general who are without work right now in Canada. And for all you armchair leftists out there, being against temporary foreign workers is not a right-wing thing. Because when we bring in more temporary foreign workers and when we increase levels of immigration beyond what is sustainable, what happens is that wages for regular Canadians get suppressed. And those workers get abused by companies like Tim Hortons. It's a lose-lose situation.
I can't believe Tim Hortons is claiming this. They apparently can't find Canadian workers locally already working at a restaurant. So they need to hire a temporary foreign worker instead. What a bunch of crap, if you ask me. What are these guys talking about? Look at this. Aaron Gunn said Tim Hortons in Courtenay is claiming they can't find a Canadian either from the area already working at one of the restaurants. $36.60 an hour. I need to hire a temporary foreign worker. He calls BS because we have the highest youth unemployment since 1990s. So time for companies here in Canada to step it up and hire Canadians first. I agree with this. Let me know in the comments below if Tim Hortons is a bunch of doo-doo.
So it turns out Tim Hortons has been lobbying the government for 18 months for more temporary foreign workers. Just when you thought the government was finally getting a handle on this and making progress on this issue, it looks like Tim Hortons wants to keep importing cheap labor and not paying Canadians fair wages. Now, my one issue with CBC's reporting on this is they refer right off the top to Tim Hortons as a Canadian company. It is not a Canadian company anymore. It's a Brazilian company. And, we can discuss whether, you think the temporary foreign worker program is needed or not needed. But I think overall, we should all be able to agree that foreign companies should not be able to use it. Because when foreign companies come to Canada, that means the profits are leaving the country. But we can say, hey, at least they're hiring people, so they're paying wages to Canadians, so it's still a benefit. But now we have foreign companies coming in, the profits leaving the country, and then they're bringing in foreign workers and they're getting the wages. So Canadians aren't seeing that benefit either. So, personally, I think this program should just be abolished entirely. Carve out a separate stream for agriculture and temporary positions, but otherwise it should be gotten rid of entirely. But if you don't want to do that, you should also support an amendment that foreign companies should not be able to use the temporary foreign worker program, only local companies. So Tim Hortons, McDonald's, Subway, all these foreign companies should not be able to bring in foreign workers, because then, what benefit are they to Canada really? And again, I highly recommend everyone check out this website, lmiamap.org. You can zoom into your city and find which companies are using temporary foreign workers and how many they've been approved to bring over. Now, a lot of them are hiding behind numbered companies. In my city, I've seen A&W and Subway, all the franchises hiding behind these numbered companies. But if you really care, you can do some sleuthing. If you Google the numbered company, sometimes you'll find job postings for it or business registrations, so you can find out who's actually behind it. And what do you think? Is it time to start boycotting companies that are utilizing the temporary foreign worker program and not paying Canadians proper wages? What do you think? Let me know in the comments.
Alright guys, welcome back once again to Ukestia Commentaries. I hope you are doing super fine and great whenever you are watching from. I'm your host Rafiki, and let's enjoy this. Now, Canadians are pissed. Canadians are literally pissed. They can't get jobs anymore at Tim Hortons. This is after a viral report that was posted the other day that Tim Hortons has been lobbying MPs for the past 18 months so that they can hire more and more and more and more temporary foreign workers. And me and you knows very well, what do they mean by temporary or foreign workers? They mean Indians, Punjabs, and international students. And Canadians are literally pissed because you, as a Canadian, you can't get a job at Timmy's anymore. In short, when you go to apply for that open spot at Timmy's, they will ask you, are you a Canadian? When they discover you are a Canadian, they tell you, no, we are very sorry, we can't hire Canadians. Yes, because we want to hire these immigrants, temporary foreign workers, and international students, and Indians, because we are paying them low wages. Their wages are subsidized. They are willing to work extra hours for us, of which you Canadians can't do, as they say. And again, Tim Hortons themselves, they are saying Canadians don't want to apply these jobs. Well, is it true though? In the meantime, let's watch these videos together, guys, of how Canadians are expressing what they think about it, their frustrations. They are calling upon Tim Hortons and their actions of pretending like they don't want to hire, like they want to hire Canadians, but in reality they've been lobbying MPs so that they can hire more Indians, temporary foreign workers, immigrants, and international students. Then we shall be sharing our opinions.
Your very own Canadian coffee house, Tim Hortons, betrayed us all. They betrayed Canada, Canadians, and more specifically, white Canadians. This was reported by the CBC News yesterday. It reads, Tim Hortons lobbied MPs for more temporary foreign workers over the last 18 months. Here's the deal. Tim Hortons goes ahead and lobbies with a bunch of Liberal MPs in order to bring in more temporary foreign workers into the country and in order to keep them longer in the country. Right? Why? Because they want to make a few more $1 million per year, because they pay way less to these temporary foreign workers, right? These liberal globalist companies, Tim Hortons being one of them, they don't give a flying damn about Canada and Canadians, all right? They sell us all out like that. The only thing they care about is their own pockets. Now, take a wild guess what nationality most of these temporary foreign workers are. Just take a wild guess. You guessed it, India. So next time you go to a Tim Hortons in order to grab your coffee and an Indian barista gives you your coffee, just remember that Tim Hortons and our liberal government are all in on it. They all betray us left and right. They don't give a damn about us. They don't give a damn about our country. They only care about their own pockets. That's a shame, Tim Hortons. That's a huge shame for you. So one thing I want you all to do is to go ahead on Google Map. Just Google any random Tim Hortons and just leave a review, a 1-star review for them. Let them know that they betrayed us, betrayed the country, betrayed Canadians. What a shame. Guys, make sure to hit the follow button, like, and share for more.
Tim Hortons lobbying to raise temporary workers from 20% to 30% in some locations. Funny thing is, when I did go to that shithole, it was 100%. Fuck Tim Hortons. I don't know why you people still drink that shit.
Timmies want more immigrants. They've been asking the government to allow them to hire more foreign workers for the last year and a half. While the youth unemployment rate sits at around 14%, we're led to believe that young people just don't want to work. And I'm sure we can all agree the real reason is immigrants are taking the jobs. But it's not always their fault. Yes, there's way too many temporary workers in the country, I'll say this right now. But think about it, they need to work in order to avoid facing deportation. That means they'll take literally any job they can get. Plus, anything is better than what they had at home. Higher pays, better working conditions. They're also a dream for companies. Low-skilled labor requires hardly any training. They'll never ask for a raise, they'll never complain, and they'll work longer hours. They know that if they quit or get fired, they face deportation. I said not always their fault, because some of them who own businesses will only hire people from their own countries, and that's a problem. But the rest are just playing the system. Hate the government, not the people.
So just when you thought you couldn't dislike Tim Hortons enough, CBC publishes this news article. Tim Hortons lobbied MPs for more temporary foreign workers over the last 18 months. On one of the letters sent to Mark Miller back in 2024, the food service industry sector was disproportionately hit hard in the pandemic and continues to face unprecedented labor shortages. They were asking to raise the cap of temporary foreign workers being able to work at Tim Hortons from 20% to 30%. The ironic part was later that year, the government reduced it to 10%. So while Canadians were fighting for the government to do something and force companies like Tim Hortons to employ Canadians again, Tim Hortons has been pretending to be Canadian and doing everything they can to screw the Canadians over. Hey Tims, do you know why fast food restaurants and industries were hit the hardest during the pandemic? It was because the people employed in them were considered essential workers. And they thought to themselves, why am I putting myself in danger and being forced to work for unlivable minimum wage while these welfare kings and queens can stay at home and collect $3,000 a month? You don't have labor shortages, you have a shortage of people that are willing to work and put themselves in danger for an unlivable wage. So they said, forget that, we'll come back when you pay us more. Tim Hortons has done everything they can to screw over Canadians while hiding behind their Canadian history. This is like a bad spy movie where the guy is clearly not Canadian and he's just dressing up in what he thinks is Canadian and just laying it on thick by changing all their symbols to maple leaves. Like Tim Hortons, it's 2025, man. All the information's out. Everyone knows the international student program, the TFW program, was just ways to find cheap labor in a market that wanted more pay. And are we really still citing the pandemic? It's been half a decade. The rest of us Canadians have to find a way to survive in this market. So can Tim Hortons.
CBC News revealed coffee giant Tim Hortons is pushing to hire more temporary foreign workers, or TFWs. In late October, it held lobbying meetings with Liberal, Bloc Québécois and Conservative MPs, making the case to renew expiring work permits faster, according to former Immigration Minister Mark Miller.
I'm sorry, I can't believe that there aren't Canadians across the country that won't do these jobs.
The Bloc's Alexis Brunel-Duceppe says in July they were looking to raise the existing cap on TFWs in his writing from 10 to 20% of employees.
It's actually very predictable that they would request higher caps, easier ability to hire temporary foreign workers. I'm not surprised at all.
But caps are not the main concern for this professor. She says foreign workers are prone to exploitation by employers, and that's where Ottawa needs to act.
We need a much more robust system for ensuring that employment standards are upheld.
Ottawa did make changes in August of 2024, but Tim Hortons' lobbying efforts go back further. In May of last year, a company representative wrote a letter to Mark Miller, released under an access to information request, asking him to bump the cap up from 20 to 30%, arguing the cost of being in business continues to rise and it is more challenging to hire in many markets. Tim Hortons says most of its 100,000 employees are local hires, but it needs TFWs to fill gaps in smaller and rural communities.
As an employer, I have a vision. I need people, and they're here as a temporary foreign worker.
The government says it cannot predict future policy decisions, but it did design the TFW program with flexibility in mind.
Get a load of this, Tim Hortons over the last 18 months was squeezing the government like a stress bulb until they coughed up more foreign workers. So basically, the arbiters of immigration in Canada are the same ones who fuck up our coffee order once a week. Now, in fairness, when the workload eases and the workers become sparse, we bitch and complain like the rents do. But the big question is, are they importing bargain bin workers because of corporate villainy? Because they want to slash everyone's wages, Yugoslavians, North Koreans, South Koreans, Chechens, everyone, everyone, slash everyone's wages and just make a very bleak Canada.
Good afternoon, my friends. Peep this report. Well, would you look at that? Just came out, 2 hours ago from today. Yeah. Remember all that racial stuff that the left was saying about us? Yeah. So here's more to the story if you want to read over that. Basically, it was at 20% and they wanted it to 30%, and then Justin Trudeau knocked it down, as you see now in 2024, to 10%. But that didn't stop them from continuously lobbying, what do you know, multiple times, even in October 2025, after he said he screwed up immigration. As you can see here. Yeah. Side note, that puts Mark Miller in a tight squeeze. And what he does next will show what he does, who he is. Am I right? And I got a video from Justin Trudeau saying that it's time for Canadian companies to hire Canadians because they're abusing the temporary foreign workers thing, which CBC just found out that they've been lobbying the Liberal government. And why haven't they been telling us anything like that?
We are tightening the rules and restricting eligibility to reduce the number of low-wage temporary foreign workers in Canada, with exceptions in certain industries like healthcare, construction, and food security. We'll also be looking at changes to the high-wage stream of the program as part of the Minister's expedited 90-day review. So to those who would complain about worker shortages, here's my message. There is no better time to hire and invest in Canadian workers.
Huh? So, once again, it's on Mark Miller now. Is he gonna let these companies get away with that stuff? I mean, Mark Carney already said that he was going to do that. Is that what they're gonna do? They're gonna keep doing this? While our own Canadian kids can't get employment opportunities? They're gonna keep doing this? But they care about Canadians, right? Affordability and stuff, right? Opportunities, right? They aren't showing it, are they? Just want to end it with this. This is their little deterrent story. And this is a link to that original story. Can you believe that? Yeah, this is their deterrent story so that nobody questioned it, and everybody that did question it got called a racist. Meanwhile, why was Tim Hortons lobbying to hire foreign workers instead of Canadians?
So it turns out Tim Hortons has been lobbying the government for 18 months.
So Tim Hortons, the Brazilian majority-owned company, is trying to influence and lobby for immigration policy in Canada. They're trying to interfere with our Canadian immigration policy, trying to make sure that the temporary foreign worker program stays in place as is, for it to be exploited by their subsidiaries. I'm not against a temporary foreign worker program. I am against it being exploited by just major companies. And I'm sure it's not just Tim Hortons that's trying their best to make sure that this temporary foreign worker program stays in place, but most notably, Tim Hortons is trying their best to make sure that this stays in place. I am against foreign companies trying to interfere and meddle with our immigration policies. I think that's a common sentiment from most people.
So, who are we blaming this time? Who are we blaming this time of all this mess in our country, in Canada? Personally, I believe we should blame these MPs. These MPs should know very well that they are working for Canada. They are working for the people. And if you are working for the people, it means that we must put Canadians first. We must consider hiring Canadians first. But in reality, when you go at Tim Hortons nowadays, you will realize that they are hiring more Indians. Let's just be honest. More Indians, Punjabi-speaking Indians, and international students. But in reality, they aren't hiring any Canadian. They aren't. They are not hiring Canadians. So it means that the government is the one that is helping them not hire Canadians. It means that the government is the one that are helping them to hire foreign workers and Indians. It means that the government is telling Tim Hortons, okay, let's increase your number of foreign workers to 30%, of which right now me and you knows it is just 100% because you can't spot any Canadians at Tim. It's very, very hard. If you are lucky, you can spot one or two. So it means the same MPs who are being lobbied are telling teams, don't hire our people. You just hire your own immigrants, hire your own Indians, your own foreign workers. So it is very, very hard for Canadians to get a job. And when they rant this way, when they rant how you are seeing them rant, it means that this is a national crisis. And it also means that Canadians are not getting these jobs at a franchise that has been there from years to years. So in short, what I'm trying to say is that we should consider putting Canadian first. Canada belongs to Canadians. Apart from before thinking about any other person, before thinking of hiring any other person who is coming to ask for that job, ask yourself, how many Canadians am I hiring? Because if we can't put Canada first, it means that those immigrants, we don't even care about them. That is why you are seeing TIM is paying them low wages, overworking them, of which Canadians can't. They know their rights. They know what is supposed to be done. These foreign workers are being paid very, very low pay and working for hours and hours and hours. To them, it's just okay. But to Canadians, they know this is not okay. But unfortunately, the government is supporting what TIM is doing. Now, Tim Hortons is saying to Canadians, no, the government has allowed us. We are not hiring any Canadian. Tell me what to think, guys.